Hello, this is Clint McDonald, and today we're going to continue our Introduction to Classes tutorial. And in this particular tutorial, we are going to continue that fundamental concept of programming with an example application. And we're going to define multiple instances of the same class and store those instances in a collection. And then once we have them stored in a collection, we'll retrieve them back again to display them. So let's go and look at our example application. So this is the same application we used in the previous tutorial where we had R2-D2's Droid Factory, and we're going to continue where we left off. So in the previous tutorial we had defined a class, we had created the properties for that particular class, and then created a constructor that would allow us to set the defaults when we use the new designation within declaring a new class. So then within the particular code, we created an instance of the class object. We took an instance of the class object and we put the input control values into the properties of that, and then we pulled those values back out of a different instance of the droid class and put them back into different input controls such that we could easily see that we were storing the information and putting it back in. So now we're going to take this to the next level where we're going to use this list box here and store each droid as we save it, and then we should be able to click on this list box and then repopulate the details area here, so basically recalling or retrieving the information from the particular instance of the class object that we've stored. So we're going to start off by going to the start of the program here and defining what we need to do. So what we actually need to do is define an array, and in this particular case we're just going to make it 10. Later on we would use more flexible methods, but for now we'll just say 10 droids, okay? And that's when we have type droid, okay? Then when we load the form, we want to pre-populate the array, so we instantiate each version. So we're going to say for I as integer, equals 0 to 10, okay? And then we're going to say droids I equals new droid. So what that does is it essentially allows us to pre-populate the values of that droid item and give it the values with the instantiated versions of the droid class object. So then from that point forward, we can now go ahead and simply refer to that array now. So when we go ahead and have this droid D available to us, we can say that droids dot some index number equals D. So now we need to know what index number we're actually referring to. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this current droid number that was defined at the top here. So each time we save a class, we're going to increment the current droid number, so we can just put the current droid number in there. So the current droid number index of the droids array of droids class objects is going to be equal to this instantiated droid that we created, okay? And then we increment the droid number here. Alright, so that's pretty straightforward. So now the last thing that we want to do is actually take the ability to click on the list box and display the droid that we want to do. Now, because we've used this current droid number as our index number and the index number in a list box, they should correspond because we're populating this list box one at a time, alright? and that means that we need to we can pull it. Now, just before we go on, I realized that we hadn't actually put this item into the list box yet. So what we're going to say is me.listbox droids.items.add and we're going to take our we're going to use d dot designation. So we're just going to put the designation in the list box, and then we'll use that designation to get it back. So then when we do the click event, we could say that call display droid, and then we need to know which droid to display. Well, we can use the array, and the index number in the array should be the same as the selected index number in the list box. So that should work straightforward. So let's run this and see what happens. So we're going to put R2D2 here, and then we'll put the owner as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then we'll set the primary color to silver, secondary color to navy. Save that, and you can see now that R2D2 has been added to the list box and its details are here. So then we can add C3PO owner, who is this? Anakin Skywalker. Sorry if I spelled it wrong. Primary color is gold. We have to define a custom color here. 210 add the custom colors, okay, and a secondary color is silver, and then we can save that. And now C3PO has been added as well. Now when I do the click event, you can see that the selected index will still match the item that I had. Now, just for clarity's sakes here, I've created a test mode here where I can pre-populate this and I can save it, so then you can see that now the items all work as far as recalling it goes, and that information is all stored in an array. I could use that array as the data source, or I could use it to loop through, or I could do it for all kinds of different things. And the idea here is that we're taking an array of class objects of type droid with all its properties and storing that within an array. So even though it's not just an integer, it's a droid, and each droid has properties, we can still put those droids in an array, which is really, really useful once you get into higher level programming. Thank you.